Hello and welcome to Box, the football talk show brought to you by Sportology TV with myself, Ali Drew, and my co-host, Ouney. On the last episode, we were joined by Dan Bardell from the Villa View and The Athletic, talking about Villa's great season up to that point, bar the game prior, which typically they lost. And we were also joined by Harry Charalambos, who was talking about Spurs and the return of Gareth Bale. But on this episode, we have another great guest.
Guys, we're bringing to you a huge guest this time around. Somebody who's got the self-proclaimed best hair in showbiz. Somebody who's given himself an MBE. A United fan. Somebody who's going through sort of the horrors of this crazy season that we're having with Man United. Somebody who's given me a lot of laughs in my car with Jason Cundy. These two seem to be a pair. There's a bit of snooker on the side as well, a bit of MUTV on the side. He's involved in a few things, but none other than Andy Goldstein. Andy, my friend, how you doing, my mate? You all right?
I'm good, very well. I like the fact the hair got to mention first. That's the most. I just want to apologise for my hair, right? Because it's still lockdown hair from the first lockdown, and my plan is to grow it like Pirlo. But I have to wear this until I get to that start. I don't like the Alice band. I'm not a fan of it, but it will go soon. All right?
It's all right. You don't need to explain yourself to us, mate. Honestly, it's all right.
Okay, all right. I love it, and I think I look like Gareth Bale. So
there we are. How is life treating you this year? Obviously, a bit of a strange year. How are things?
No, all good actually. I've been really lucky that when we went into the first lockdown, we were allowed to do or able to do the show from home. Hence the. So although it was difficult to do because we're doing a Zoom now, and this would be 10 times easier if we all sat around a table. You get through it, so that was fine. And even going back to football, I've been lucky enough I've been to Old Trafford a couple of times. You mentioned there in the opener that I do stuff for MUTV. I did the Chelsea game and the Palace game. Obviously, not good games to do, but so I'm still going to football, which is still bizarre. When you do home games, you expect to see 75,000 people there. It's just me walking through the Munich tunnel to get where I need to go. So it's still a bit bizarre, but it is what it is. We have to get through it. There will be a light at the end of the tunnel. We'll all get there. So it's just a matter of when, not if, I suppose.
It's probably no better place to start, Andy, than Old Trafford then in that case. Let's talk.
You break it up. What was that?
Andy, listen, I share the same sort of passion that you've got, and I'm quite hurt at this moment. But let's talk about yesterday. United, Arsenal, a game that...
Why? Why do you want to talk? Let's talk about my hair more. Look at all the Star Wars stuff I've got. And look, the United show. Let's just talk about something else.
You've got a nice man cave there, mate. Honestly.
You've got Han Solo's gun down him. We've not even talked about that. Let's talk about other stuff. We don't need to talk about United.
But come on. United, Arsenal. It's always a game that, as a United fan for the last couple of years, it's never had that same sort of passion. I've always thought United generally would beat them. But yesterday, it was just a weird game. It's been a weird couple of games this season at Old Trafford. Just talk to me about the game yesterday.
Oh my goodness! I really fancied us going into it. On the back of the Leipzig, not just result but performance. I thought we'd smash Arsenal. I really did. We spoke about this. You mentioned I did a show with Cundy. We spoke about this on Thursday's show, and he said it'd be quite a tight affair. He said, that both sides would sort of sit back and be difficult to break down, which it turned out to be. The first sort of 25 minutes we didn't even get a look in, and I thought that's going to paint quite a sorry picture for the next 70 minutes, which it did. I don't quite know what's wrong with United. A lot has been made about how poor United are at home or how poor United are in the league. But I see flashes. Of genius. The goal Marcus Rashford scored against Newcastle was brilliant. It's pointless me picking out bits because there have been flashes of brilliance from United. The PSG game was another moment where you thought, okay, maybe the season's turning. I don't know what it is. I listened to Roy Keane afterwards, and I don't necessarily agree with what he was saying about, there's no fight there, there's no leaders. Maybe he said some of the players aren't good enough. I don't necessarily see that because when we play Leipzig and we tonk them, they are good enough and the leaderships are there. So I don't really know. I can't put my finger on it. I suppose Ole can't either. It must be so frustrating for him and the team that you get a great performance followed by a really poor one. I was there for the Chelsea one and I don't know. I don't know if he knows his best formation. The last 3 games we played 3 different formations. I don't know if he knows his best team. I don't know yet.
Andy, my theory is a bit weird, but the way I see it is when a team comes out to attack United play better. So, for example, I think United are probably better suited to like a Champions League format, FA Cup format, where it's going to be teams, well, maybe not the FA Cup, but maybe the Champions League a bit more, where teams are going to come forward, try to attack, and United have this great attacking prowess where they just counter-attack and they can get you goals. And that's what I felt this season, that versus PSG, we were great. I think that was one of our best performances this season. We didn't really give PSG one a good look in. And then Leipzig was another great performance. But when teams sit back and actually have a formation and try to press United, it seems like we don't know how to get out of defence or how to play out. Do you feel like that's the case? Do you feel like the Premier League could be a long slog this season, but maybe a cup competition could be the way forward for United?
It is definitely a problem, the fact when teams come out and put 10 and 11 behind the ball, we can't break them down. But having said that, we've got players like Bruno Fernandes that should unlock their defence. You know, Juan Mata, another prime example, we can do that. Donny van der Beek, you know, he's meant to be that kind of player. I don't know what it is with the final third at the moment. I can't work it out. That seems to be a problem, that if teams sit deep, we can't get in and behind them. But, you know, having said that, we have chances in matches and we just don't finish them. But we just don't have enough. I don't know. I really don't know what it is, but I find it incredibly frustrating watching it.
Just obviously, there's different opinions. No one knows why it's happening. You either have a great performance, a bad performance. Roy Keane was blaming the players, saying, you know, it's the players that need to sort of address it for themselves. Other people are saying Ole Gunnar Solskjaer just isn't going to cut it anymore. He needs to go. Do you think that ultimately he's going to pay the price and they're going to get rid of him?
I think it's a results-driven business. It's quite simple. It doesn't matter who you are. If you don't get the results, you're going to get sacked, and that's Jose, that's Pep as well. You know, if City start to slide, he'll go. It's any manager. So if United don't start improving in the league, then whoever's in that hot seat will definitely be under pressure and more than likely face the sack. I still back Ole. I still think he's got it. You know, I still think he's got it. I think every player he's brought in to that club has made that squad stronger and better. There are a few players, like for instance, Dan James, that got off to an absolute flyer last season. He's sort of slowed down at the moment, but that's probably because there are so many other better players in the team ahead of him. If he's going to get a chance, it's going to be 20 minutes here and there, although he did start the other week. But I don't, again, I know I'm not giving you much, but I look at the squad, I look at the players he's brought in, they've definitely improved us. If you look at how midfield before Ole got involved, or when he started getting involved, it was Pereira, it was Lingard, it was these players that you'd look at and go, yeah, okay, they're good squad players, but they're not good enough to start. But now you look at United starting 11, and you can't get players like Cavani in, you can't get players like Donny van der Beek in, you can't get Juan Mata in. So that just tells me the squad's good enough. I think the players do care. I think they are proud to wear the shirt. It's just not clicking. I mean, a lot has been made. A lot has been made that the first 3 or 4 games, United didn't have a pre-season, so you could argue that those 3 or 4 games. I know it's the same for everyone. I get that, but we didn't really have a pre-season. Also, I think, and again, this will be the same with everyone, but more so when it's at United because you've got 75,000 people there screaming. But that game when we played Chelsea, when there was 10 minutes to go and we were desperate to try and nick a winner. I think if you've got a home side as big as that could be the 12th man as well. I think there's quite a few key elements, but I don't think it's panic button time yet.
When Ole took the job, we knew that he's not a massively experienced manager in regards to he sort of worked at United, I think at the under-21s at that point. And then obviously gone to Molde, did Cardiff for a bit. But when it comes to Manchester United, even people like Jose Mourinho, who's sort of been at Chelsea, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, when he came to United, he saw the pressures of United. Do you feel like all these egos that he's got in the dressing room now, because we've got a fantastic squad, we've got great names in midfield and strike, that Ole doesn't know what to do with them in regards to, does he set one team week in, week out? Is this rotation working, different formations every week working? Do you feel like he hasn't got that experience on how to manage these big players and this vast amount of players in the depth of squad that we've got? Because he's never had that problem in his life before.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a problem because he's got other players, he's got other people around him. He's got Mike Phelan around him. He's got Michael Carrick. I think there's enough experience in that dressing room on the managerial side of things for it not to be a problem. I think because of who Ole is and because of the players he's played around and the people he's played under, like Sir Alex, I don't think that any big time Charlies. I don't think that there'd be a problem for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So I don't think he's picking a side because he feels pressured into picking for argument's sake, Paul Pogba. You know, he's left him out in recent weeks. So I've no doubt that Ole will always pick the team he thinks is best to do that job against whatever, you know, opponents we've got coming up. But listen, with any job like that, you know, with the biggest job in the world, you're going to feel pressure. You know, Jose couldn't do it. You know, I know we say he won 3 trophies, but Jose wasn't brought in to win a Europa League or, you know, a League Cup or a Community Shield. He wasn't brought in to do that. A bit like Pep at Man City, he's not been brought in, I don't think, to win another league title. They've got to win the Champions League. So it would take time. You know, the problem is United haven't won a league title since, 2013, and we're desperate to win another one. And it's difficult when you see, you know, Liverpool, it pains me to say it, but the juggernaut that is Liverpool flying at the moment. You know, Man City are struggling a bit. I think it's going to be a bit of a weird season. You know, it's early days. If it was last season, I think I'd panic a bit more, because there was just too many teams that were just too strong and they look good from beginning to end. But this season, there's so many crazy results. You know, from Liverpool getting tonked at Aston Villa to us losing to Spurs. You know, every weekend it seems, you know, like even Everton losing, you sort of think the results are so crazy. You know, Jason, who I work with, he's come up with a great expression. He says football is drunk this season, right? And I think that explains it perfectly. There's no more rhyme or reason to any result. So if we had the consistency of the results from last year, I think I'd worry. But because from week to week you do not know what team's going to beat what team, then I don't think yet it's a problem.
Do you think that, obviously, you know, the season is crazy, the result, the amount of goals, the results you're getting, the teams that have been doing really, really well and now starting to lose, it's, you know, it's changing all the time. Do you think that is down to the situation of the year, like the no crowds? Do you think it's because there wasn't much gap between the end of last season and the start of this one? What do you think is the sort of main reasons behind the season being so weird so far?
That's a good question. I think a lot to do with what you've just said. I think a lot is to do with the games coming thick and fast. I mean, we had a few weeks on the bounce where every single week was another round of the Carabao Cup. It was just, you know, it's ridiculous. I think that's a big factor. You know, I know that Jurgen Klopp wants us to get 5 subs instead of 3. I get that, because, you know, there's so many matches that these players have got to go through. Not that my heart bleeds for a footballer on $200,000 a week having to play twice in a week. That's a problem, isn't it? 2 90-minute games. I think it's a mixture of everything. I think the crowds is a big thing, but then that's the same for everyone. So if it's the same for everyone, you can take that out of the equation. I don't really. There's something, isn't there? I mean, because the results are bonkers. So I don't know what it is. That's probably the $64 million question. There's something. I think it's a mixture of everything. I think it's people don't know what's happening from one week to the next. Just in the real world, it's no fans. It's games coming thick and fast. It's players getting tired. It's the pressures of the Premier League. It's sort of everything. But I'm glad that you asked me that question, because that means we've now finally moved away from Man United.
Actually, I do want to actually ask you one more question.
Oh, okay.
It's after yesterday, and we've got to talk about this guy, because every time United lose, it seems to be someone that gets talked about all the time. Is Paul Pogba. Yesterday, he gave the penalty away. Even afterwards, when everyone was talking about the game, they were talking about Paul Pogba. His performances are inconsistent. What do you make of Pogba's sort of tenure at Man United, especially in the last 2 seasons?
I've been asked this many a time, and I'll give you the answer I always get. I'm lucky enough to go to most games at Old Trafford because I work there. I've never come out of Old Trafford yet and gone, wow, when I've watched him play. You know, when Ronaldo used to play, I mean, I'm naming Ronaldo, there's hundreds of United players. But, you know, when Ronaldo used to play and he used to, you know, score free kicks and do these ridiculous things with the football, you come out and you go, I've got value for money if you pay for your ticket, which of course I don't. But with Pogba, I know it's there because I've seen him do it in a French shirt, and I know it's there because I've seen him do it in a Juve shirt. I'm waiting. It will happen. I'm just waiting for him to, you know, when I've had this conversation before, people go, what about the second half against Man City? And I'm like, okay, you're naming one game, one half, 45 minutes. So it's there. I don't know why. You know, there's a lot of talk of maybe you should play him left of a 3, and it's like, he sort of played there yesterday. I don't know. It's there because we've seen it in the World Cup. I hope we see it more often, but I'm still waiting for that wow performance.
Where would you play him then? If for you to, because you watched him enough.
Goal. I'd stick him next to Maguire, centre half, sweeper, just behind the two.
Go on, Andy. Where would you play him? Where do you think his best position is? Because at United, we've never really found it. I think when Zlatan was at United, I think him and Zlatan had that connection, and he was sort of performing at that time. But now I don't know. Where would you put
I don't know. I don't know if the problem with our midfield is that we've got too many names to choose from. A bit like when England had Gerrard, Lampard, and Scholes, or mainly Gerrard and Lampard. Although of course I would put Scholes ahead of both of them, but it was always trying to fit them in, and it never ever worked. I don't know if that's the problem at United. Where do you play Paul Pogba? When we got him and it wasn't working, it was like, right, let's get Matic in. That will free up Paul Pogba. And then we got Matic in and it didn't work. And it was like, right, let's get Alexis Sanchez in. That'll free up Matic and that'll free up Pogba. And it's like, right, and then that didn't work. I don't know where the best place to play him. I don't know. You can't play him as a 10 because then you're taking Bruno out of the equation. Where's his best position? You can't play him. I don't think you can't play him in the front three, obviously. So he's got to play midfield. I think you lose a bit of his quality if you put him as a holding midfielder, just protecting the back four. I don't know. Maybe in goal. Let's try him in goal. He's tall. I don't know.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Right, we will move on from Man United now and talk about some of the other games this weekend. Obviously, Newcastle beating Everton. Were you surprised by that result? Everton have had a great season so far.
Yeah, they have. I love football fans because everyone gets so excited, and everyone's so short-sighted as well. So the first 3 or 4 weeks where Everton topped the Premier League, we got Everton fans going up, going, "This is our year. We're going to win it." With our midfield, they got great midfield. Calvert-Lewin scoring goals for fun. I get all that, but it was like, no, calm down. If you get top 10, and then when you say if you get top 10, it's almost like you've said you're going to shoot their mum. It's like, what? How dare you? It's like, no, I'm just being realistic. It's so many times we've had a season where an unfancied team gets out the blocks really quickly and they sit at the top of the Premier League for the first 5 weeks, and you go, oh, and at the end of the season, they're playing to survive. So with Everton, I think, listen, they've got an amazing manager. There's no doubt about that. They've got the right manager to bring in success. I still think success for Everton this season will be top 8. I think that'd be unbelievable finish for them, and it's improvement and it's going forward, and he's setting them up well defensively. They look a bit more sound. Obviously, they've got this problem with the goalkeeper. He dropped him at the weekend, Pickford. That didn't seem to work. But I think they've got all the right pieces of the jigsaw now to really move forward and be quite a strong. I mean, Everton have always been that sleeping giant. When you look at all the clubs in the Premier League, the ones that should have had success that haven't, I'll probably put Everton at the top of that pile. The last time they won something, it was 95. They beat us at Wembley by a goal to in the cup final. And for a size of a club as big as Everton, 25 years, quarter of a century, that's way too long to wait. But I think they're going in the right direction now.
Just going off what you're saying, I think the same applies to Spurs. A lot of fans, after they beat us, they had a couple of good results, are sort of saying this could be Spurs this season. But what do you make of what Mourinho's done there? He signed a few players, got Bale in, got Reguilon in. Seems to be a fantastic signing. What do you make of him? Do you feel like he's going to push them? Where's he going to push them this year? Where do you see them?
That's a great question. I love watching Spurs play. I really do, because they're so unpredictable. But again, Ancelotti, they've got a manager that knows how to win stuff. He's a trophy pig, Jose. He brings you trophies. That's probably why Daniel Levy brought him in. They're sitting, second now in the Premier League. They had the type of win against Brighton last night, which I paid for, by the way. £15 I paid for that.
We went to boycotting, aren't we?
I know, but I needed to watch it. I tell you why I needed to watch it, because I needed to have a cheeky cigar, which you know about.
I do, yes, I do know that.
Yeah. So I needed to have a cheeky cigar. So I thought if I can watch it through the window in the kitchen and I can have the sound on my Anyway, so I paid £15. Wasn't value for money. It's way too expensive. But they're the type of games that I think that if you're going to do well, if you're going to win games playing badly, you sort of start thinking, well, could it be Tottenham's year? And because what I was alluding to before about how crazy this football season is, it wouldn't surprise me, if Spurs had a great chance to win the title when Leicester won it. It wouldn't surprise me if this season gives them a better opportunity. I think they've got a better squad. You could argue when Bale's fit, and he's getting back to fitness now, with Son, Kane. I mean, Kane's, I think, the best striker in Europe. Son is so underrated. I think he's a phenomenal player. And we all know about Gareth Bale on his day. We still don't know what Gareth Bale are going to get, but you could argue, is that the best front three in the Premier League when everyone's fit? I don't know, but it's up there. And if you've got the best front three in England, there's no reason why you can't challenge for the title. So they've got a great chance, Spurs.
Andy, I'm more put you on the spot. We know it's a crazy season so far. Who do you see winning the league? Who do you see being in that top 4?
Obviously, winning the league, Manchester United.
Of course. That's the answer I was looking for.
If it's not them, is that your question? If it's not Manchester United?
Yes.
Okay, I thought that's what you meant. Yeah. Oh my God. Well, look, who is this? Who I think will win it?
Yes.
Right. This is the first time someone's asked me this. With 7 games gone? I don't think Liverpool will win it. I think Virgil van Dijk missing from the heart of their defence is too big a problem, because they went 30 years without winning the title. They bought him. I know they bought Alisson as well, but they bought him and then they won the title. So I think if you take that out of the equation, I don't think they can win it. So I'm not going to say Liverpool will win it. Do you just want my winners or top 4? Do you want top 4?
Winner, yeah, top 4. Give me top 4. But give me
top 4. You get top 4.
Oh. Do you want a top 4 or just winners?
No,
top 4.
Top 4.
Ali's like enjoying the suffering I'm going through now. Top 4, okay. 4th, United.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, forget that. Cancel that. Right. 4th, Chelsea.
Okay.
Right. No, cancel that again. Sorry. I don't know.
I told you I'm going to put you on the spot.
Right. Let me just tell you, I think will be in the mix. It's impossible. It's impossible, right? I think Spurs will be in the mix.
Okay.
Jeez. Can I swear on this podcast?
Yeah, pause. You can do whatever you
I have no fucking idea. Right? Spurs, Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, Man City. There's 5 to go to 4. I don't think anyone else. I don't think Everton will be in there. Who am I missing out? Wolves, they won't be in there. Leeds won't be in there. Right, so I've given you 5. So top 4 will be Spurs are going to win the Premier League. Spurs are going to win the Premier League.
Okay.
All right? I don't know. Spurs, Liverpool. Spurs, Liverpool. Fuck, I mean, literally, I'm pulling it out of a hat. Spurs, Liverpool.
All right.
God, you're horrible. I don't know. Spurs, Liverpool, Man United, City. There you go.
Cool. Before we let you go, I do want to mention a United player, Marcus Rashford, and the work that he's doing. Sort of feeding children their dinners, school meals that the government don't seem to want to do. What do you make of Marcus Rashford, this young 23-year-old England international, using this big platform, Man United player, using this platform that he's got, but making good of it, and sort of millions of people around the UK are sort of benefiting from what he's doing?
Yeah, I mean, listen, whatever I say now hasn't already been said. I think he's just what a phenomenal person. I hope it's not too long before he becomes Sir Marcus Rashford. I hope he wins Sports Personality of the Year award.
He got Pride Britain last night.
Yeah, and rightly so. I hope he gets all the plaudits he deserves. What just a fantastic human, irrelevant of how good he is a footballer and how annoyingly good looking he is as well. What a fantastic human he is. What a great example to not just kids, but to everyone in the country that, you can make a change. One person can make a change. And I think from what I understand, from what I hear behind the scenes, it's just the tip of the iceberg with him. I think there's a lot more to come up. He obviously wants to change the way we live and change the world. And who's to say he can't do it? What an amazing young man he really is. Fantastic, absolutely incredible man.
Before we finish, we ask everyone this question. So it'll be, if it's an ex-footballer, we ask who the greatest player they played alongside was. For people in the media, we say, who is the greatest player that you've ever watched play live? Who do you think is the... I think, based on what you said earlier, I think I know this answer, but who's the greatest player you've seen play live?
Do you? Oh, you think it's Ronaldo then?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were going to ask me my favourite Star Wars character was.
Ask that after.
Okay. Yeah. It's not Jar Jar Binks, obviously. Sounding such a geek, aren't I? The best player I've ever seen play live. So you mentioned earlier, I do stuff for MUTV. So we did one season, I don't know if this counts because it was after he retired, but we did a Man United v Real Madrid Legends game.
Yeah.
And for the second half, I don't even know how to this day, So I'm good mates with Lee Sharp, and Lee Sharp was playing. So for the second half, I stood on the touchline, in the little box bit. Right? I still can't remember how I did this. And while the game was going on, I was chatting to Sharp. He was on the pitch, and in front of me was Zidane while the game was going on. And someone passed him the ball, and he was surrounded by about, I don't know, 3 players. And he literally just went like that with his shoulder. I don't know if you can see because I'm all in black, but he like that. And everyone went that way, and he just turned and went that way. And I was just like, how have you done that? And throughout the game, obviously watching him, I was just in awe. Because it's different when you watch someone on telly, because, the camera goes that way and you can't look at him. But when you're in the ground, obviously, you can just keep an eye on him. And even though he retired, I was just in awe. So, listen, my answer is going to be in a United shirt, Cantona, Ronaldo, Giggsy, all of those. I'm missing out players. I know Scholes, Keane, Beckham, of course, Jesus. But probably the player that I've been most in awe of because of who he was Zidane. And look there, you see that there, that blue one?
Yeah.
Not that one, hold on, that one. That's a signed shirt from Zidane.
Oh, wow.
French shirt.
Nice.
How cool is that? Yeah.
What's the other one? Whose is that?
So that's Norman Whiteside's from the 85 Cup final.
Yeah. Okay.
That's quite personal to me. And you can't see it. Up there I've got Giggsy and Messi. I could make all this up. I've got Eusebio and Pele. I haven't got it. I've got Giggsy and Messi up there and a Beckham one. So I've got two, I get around it quite cheekily. So I've got 2 little girls, and I get the shirt signed for them.
I knew that was what you were going to say.
Yeah. So because if I went, can you sign it for my boy? His name's Andy. They'd go like, yeah, okay, Andy. But because their names obviously aren't my name, they can't turn it down. So they're like, yeah, fine. So I've got all these shirts in here. I've got Ronaldo's there and Ruud Gullit, all for my kids. So when they get married and they're because I thought. When I met my wife, I thought if her dad said, I've got a George Best shirt for you and a Bobby Moore, I'd be like, oh my God, that's amazing. So I've got them all. I collect them.
Oh, that's nice. That is nice.
Yeah. I mean, actually, the question is, when is this Pirlo transformation actually going to take? When is it going to finish? Because
you tell me where I'm up to if you want.
You're about 50% there.
No, well, I love the fact we're talking here. This comes down to like there, right? Wow, look at that.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It needs to come down to there.
Okay, so
that's not too much longer.
Should we just do the rest of it like that? Look at that.
That's a good look. That's like a David Beckham, like the original.
Yeah, but Andy, David Beckham.
But Andy pulls it off better, obviously.
That's it.
I quite like that.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a good look.
Very
good.
We were talking football lifestyle and we wanted to hear. What's going on here?
I know, and we do need to ask who's your favourite Star Wars character. We did say we'd ask.
Who's my favourite Star Wars character? Great question. Do you want top 10?
Every single character.
I love a bit of Han Solo. Obviously, Han Solo would be there, wouldn't he? Because everyone loves Han Solo. Hey, look, there he is. Look, there's Han Solo. You see?
Can't see him. Oh, in a protected box.
Yeah, look, a real one from the 70s.
Brilliant.
So you're a bit of a, so you've got the geeky side to yourself as well.
I just collect stuff. I collect. Hey, look, I've got a real England cap for when I did Soccer AM, like a proper real England cap.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh my God!
I just collect a load of stuff, a load of rubbish.
But you're not a hoarder, are you? You're not somebody who's got a room somewhere next door where it's just full of stuff you can't enter into the room.
Yeah, this room.
Oh, is it? Okay.
This room has got so. Look, wait, I'll show you something else. Look, watch. Hold on.
It's like cribs. We're doing cribs.
Boba Fett. Hold on, I think as well. Look, watch. Look at that.
Oh my God, that is unbelievable.
What's that about?
That is so cool. That is actually really cool, to be honest.
Is that right?
And you go out and you say, these are for my daughters, all this stuff I'm buying, and then keep it in your man cave.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if I was single and this was my bachelor pad and brought a girl back here? They'd actually run a mile, wouldn't they? They'd go, I think you're mental. Unless, of course, they love Princess Leia, then it'd just be the match made in heaven, I suppose.
And it'd be perfect.
But yeah. I'd start deep breathing like Darth Vader. That'd be a worry.
It's been a pleasure having you on, mate. Honestly, it's been good talking football.
It's my pleasure. Next time we do it, let's do it on the back of United winning the title, shall we?
Yeah, 100%. We'll give you a shout then, which will be
we will.
This summer, no doubt.
Yes,
Thanks,
exactly.
Andrew.
There was an open joke there for like, I'll speak to you in 20 years, but of course it'll be next season. It'll be, yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll speak to you at least on the back of a win for United, at least.
Okay. Yeah, we'll speak to you at some stage this season then, I imagine.
I know, that could be soon, could be not. Thanks,
Hopefully,
Andy.
hopefully.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Take care.
Great to be joined there by Andy Goldstein and his fantastic hair. Make sure you stay tuned. We have lots more coming up, lots of great guests booked, so stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed, guys. Help us out, leave some comments, share whatever you can to support the channel, and we will see you next time.